13.8 billion years ago, the supernova explosion, widely known as the Big Bang, occurred. It created many essential components for the game of lacrosse: life, collective learning, and the modern-day revolution. The game of the Native Americans, gods, and the creators. But most importantly, the game where men became warriors, where citizens traded, and disputes came to a close. The Big Bang was a very important role in creating lacrosse, so without the Big Bang, the game wouldn't be where it is today. The game started with life in a tree. Players first created the balls and sticks from wood, and wood comes from a living organism. But years later, after making the ball more advanced, players started to use leather as a new ball. Leather comes from a deer, and they would use deerskin because it can become wet and dried over and over and will always confirm back to its original condition. As they got more advanced, they used more living organisms, which was crucial for the game. As humans, we are uniquely powerful because we use symbolic language to store and circulate information that would otherwise disappear when individuals die. This enables us to manipulate and react to our environments like no other species on the planet, which is collective learning. Lacrosse uses collective learning all the time. Players need to communicate and come up with strategies in order to win, but there are other ways to use collective learning. Lacrosse was a way to settle arguments, a diplomatic tool. By agreement, a contest that allowed tribes to resolve territorial disputes. Ritualized battles reinforced political fellowship. Also, games of lacrosse were played for a number of reasons. It was considered a sport that toughened up young warriors for war, but it was also a game played for recreation and for religious reasons. When people didn't agree on their religion, they would set up the field and begin the game that could last for a couple of days. Originally, the lacrosse field laid on a rough ground with posts and gold trees, or posts if vegetation was not convenient, as much as a mile apart. One game witnessed by a colonist tells of two villages engaging each other, hundreds of men on the field at once. The swiftest players would usually engage at the center of the field, and the slower arranged themselves around the goalposts. The heavier players held ground in between. Today, lacrosse is so much more different. Lacrosse is separated by gender: men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse. Men's lacrosse almost seems like a new sport. This game is played with 10 players versus over 100. In the 1600s, there's no protective equipment. All the Native Americans had was a wooden stick and a ball. Today, you have to wear protective equipment, such as a helmet, arm protectors, gloves, and a mouth guard. The men's sticks also have evolved to deep pockets, and some defenders even use a longer shaft. Women's lacrosse is very like to the original game, although it did take almost 300 years to get started. St. Leonard's School in St. Andrews, Scotland claims to be the first girls' school to have played lacrosse in 1890. The first headmistress, Miss Lumsden, watched the game played in Canada in 1884 between the Kanawha Indians and the Montreal Club in Montreal, and that it was beautiful and graceful. As a result, the game was introduced to the school. Women today wear a cage to protect their eyes and nose, a mouth guard, and a stick that is very close to match the original wooden sticks. But instead of 100 players on the field at once, there's only 12 at a time. Social leveler, spiritual connector, creative channeler of aggression, the gift of lacrosse from those who preceded the colonists in this land offers us one of the team sport's most important life lessons, whether we play it, witness it, or just read about it. As one Mohawk elder wrote, "Our grandfather told us that lacrosse was played for the enjoyment of the Great Spirit. Everyone was important, no matter how big or small, or how strong or how weak."